Okay, well, not really sure how I feel about this, so I'm just gonna do it. Um, I was diagnosed with Bell's palsy 1 week ago today. It was actually February 29th, 2016, leap year. Um, I woke up Monday morning, typical day, nothing weird or different the day before or days leading up to. Um, got up, got my cup of coffee, went in, used the restroom, glanced at myself in the mirror like I usually do. Didn't notice anything different. Sat down at my computer, which is my routine. I sit down, have my coffee, check my email, check Facebook, see what's going on in the world. And was sitting there, went to take my first sip of coffee and felt like, wow, my mouth feels weird. It's like not functioning right. And I thought, well, gosh, maybe my mouth was just asleep or something. And kept looking, waiting for my coffee to cool. Went to take my second sip, and it was the same way. So I thought that was pretty odd. So went into the bathroom and looked at my face, and it's like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? And noticed that my eye was closing slower. It's my left side that's affected. That my left eye was closing slower, and really kind of freaked me out at first. And then I thought, nah, it's no big deal. Don't worry about it. But as the hours went by and it wasn't changing at all, I ended up calling my doctor. And first, before I did that, of course, I hit the internet, and was doing all this stuff because I thought, I'm going to be 59 in September of this year. And so the fear of stroke, that's legit, right? Um, and so I got online and I was checking stuff online, and I had heard about Bell's palsy before but didn't really know much about it. So I was doing that, kind of checking the web on that and stuff. And everything that I was reading sounded exactly like what was going on in my face. So, I did a lot of reading, contemplating it, kind of freaking out a little bit, doing some praying, and decided, well, some of the articles said, that it's really important that you seek treatment within the first 72 hours, 2 to 3 days. That if you can get treatment in those first 3 days, it's really great. So later on that morning, I called the doctor's office to see if I could get in. Couldn't get in. The earliest I could get in, this was Monday morning. The earliest I could get in was Wednesday morning at 10:30. So Wednesday morning at 10:30, I went into the doc and talked to the nurse, of course, when they were checking me in and stuff like that while I was waiting for the doc to come in. By the time the doctor came in, I told him, I said, look, I have myself self-diagnosed. I have Bell's palsy. And he said, you're totally right. He asked me what was going on, how it felt, what was happening. And he said, yeah, you have Bell's palsy. But he was really cool. He talked to me about everything I needed to talk about. And I'm really glad I did do the research on the internet, because I'm the kind of person that when I get to the doctor, I don't know what to ask. I don't know what to listen for. I don't know. I just kind of like deer in headlights. So I'm really glad that I did get on the internet and get the information that I had, so that by the time that I got there to see him, I knew what kind of questions I wanted to ask. Because usually, I'll sit in the doctor's office and I'll listen to him and everything like that. And then after I leave, I think of these questions. So it was really helpful to do that research on my own ahead of time. So I'm glad I did that. He really cool doctor. Love him. He's actually a physician's assistant, and was really great with spending time talking to me about it and the fears that I had. And he showed me, diagrams of, the nerve banks that come down around your ear and, around here, and why it affects, your facial nerves and muscles like it does. He printed me out, 4 or 5 pages of information, and started me on prednisone, steroids. I'll be on that and then also Valtrax, which is an antiviral. Because they don't really know Bell's palsy. I mean, get online, search it. It's one of those kinds of things that they don't really know what really causes it. They tend to think it has to do with the herpes virus, cold sores, genital herpes, chickenpox, shingles virus. And what it does is there's like a little bony canal in your skull where it like that nerve runs through there, okay, through that little canal. And for whatever reason, it's a virus or whatever, but that nerve that comes through that little hole gets inflamed, and so it expands in that hole and gets pinched, for lack of a better word, gets pinched, and it affects these nerve banks on a side of your face, mine being the left side, and it paralyzes, freezes up your face. And as a result, it's just unbelievable. I mean, it's crazy. It's really weird. It's really crazy. It's embarrassing. It's something you really have to get your head around, which I'm still doing, because it's only been a week. And it is embarrassing. It's like you don't really want to go out. You don't want to talk to people because you can't talk. It affects, like for me, I have nothing here. So I can't pucker up. See, that's my puckering up. Right? Kiss me. I can't smile. Here's my grin. Here's a smile. Frown. Nothing moves here, right? Opening my mouth. Can't do it. Can't do it. Crinkling up my nose. Nothing on this side works. So it's really odd because it affects the way you talk. It affects the way you, of course, your facial expressions. It affects the way you eat. Eating is a challenge. I don't want to eat in front of anybody because it's hard to keep, it's just hard to do. It's hard to do. You can't eat a lot of things. You have to eat really small bites, and it needs to be soft foods because you don't have, like the muscles here, you can tuck them in to hold your food where it needs to be. Over here, like you can see when I talk, like I say puppy, puppy, puppy. See how this goes out? Puppy. I don't have the control of holding in my cheek. Now, when I eat, I tend to kind of go like that and hold it like that. It makes it a little bit easier. And also, even talking makes it a little bit easier if I do that. But, you can't walk around with your hand on your face all the time. But so that's how it affects you. Also, like my eye, I thought my eye was, when I first went in, my eye seemed to be closing better, but now it's not. So it's like you close your eye and one stays open, which is really creepy looking. And also, your eye gets really dry, and so I tend to like, help it close every so often so that it doesn't get dried out. I'm gonna head into town tomorrow. I live kind of out in a little teeny town out in the middle of nowhere. So I'm gonna head into town tomorrow and get some artificial. He told me I could get artificial tears to put in my eyes so that they don't dry out. So I'll have to do that on this side. And so far for sleeping, I haven't had to tape my eyelid closed, which I don't want to have to do that because that just sounds painful. I've been able to actually lay down and, push my eye closed like that. And it pretty much will stay closed if I just keep my eye closed. If I don't open my eyes at all, um, it will pretty much stay closed like that. And I'm not a crazy sleeper, so I can pretty much sleep, without like, scratching my eye or anything like that. So, um, anyway, I'm just gonna document this because, and tomorrow I'll set up a calendar and more of a notebook. But tonight I was just doing some more research, and I saw a few people on YouTube and stuff that are documenting their journey with Bell's palsy, and I thought, that's a great idea because it's scary. It's frightening. You don't know what to expect, and if we can all share it, then it might just help to make it so it's not quite so scary. And the prognosis is, like my doctor told me, he said, chances are that I'll fully recover. I may have some residual, but so far he thinks I'll fully recover. I go back to see him in a month after my meds are, I've taken all my meds. I'm on 21 days of prednisone, and the first 7 days are the antiviral. Tomorrow's my last day of antiviral. And then my first complete week of the heavy duty prednisone, and then he has me weaning off so that I don't, have any kind of nausea or headachy or any kind of withdrawals and stuff. So, some of the stuff that I've read says, that you can start seeing benefits in 2 weeks. So that's why I thought, I'll start documenting it. And because I just am curious as to how long, before I do start seeing benefits. And this is one of the good ways of being able to tell. So this is me smiling. This is me raising my eyebrows and looking up in the air. This is me closing my eyes. This is me blinking. Smiling. Opening my mouth. Wide-eyed. It's really weird because I don't know. It's so strange. I mean, nice hair, right? So strange because you really, you have no idea what it feels like to not be able to actually move your face. I mean, who thinks of that, right? Who thinks of what it would be like to not be able to talk out of one side of your mouth? It's like mouth. I have to make a conscious effort to bring this my bottom lip up to try and compensate for where this is sagging, so that maybe I can speak a little bit easier. It's just really difficult, you know. You have no control over something, you know, your face. I mean, your speech, your eating, your blinking of your eye. I mean, who thinks of that, right? Who thinks that you could lose control of that? So it's really weird, and I don't know, this is just my journey, and it's a lot of babbling, and I know that, but you know, it's therapeutic for me. So and you know, yeah, it's therapeutic. It's good to talk about, and so yeah. So I'll do this again. Let's see, it is what today is. I have to look. Today is Monday, March 7th. And the onset was a week ago today, Monday, February 29th, leap year 2016. So yeah, I'll just document this as I go along, and I'll date it because I want to see my own progress. So yeah, good night.